Okay,
There we
there you
go.
go.
Hi, Lillian. How are you?
Hi, I'm great, Joanne. How are you?
I am really excited to be on with you. This has been something
I
I've been
am
looking
too.
forward to for a long time. As soon as I heard your name and that you worked with teenagers, I was like, oh, but you're like the most natural follow-up step for what I do. So I was like, we need to talk. So for
Yeah.
everyone who is tuning in today, this is, okay, I'm going to butcher the spelling of how your
Okay.
last, can you, Lillian
Beaudoin.
Beaudoin. Yes, French.
Yes.
Beaudoin. Lillian
Oh, yes.
Beaudoin.
Yes.
Lillian is joining us today, and Lillian specializes in out of control teenagers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lillian, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and how did you end up doing this work?
Yeah. Thank you, Joanne, for asking me and inviting me for this interview. I'm really excited about it. Listen, how did I get into this work? First of all, and always first and foremost, I'm a mom myself of two girls. So you can imagine the teenage girls. Oh, wow. You know, some moms think boys are a handful. Girls are quite the handful as well, let me tell you. Yeah, so I'm a mom of two beautiful girls. I'm also a grandma. Okay, I have three grandchildren. Beautiful. My oldest grandchild is 13, going to be 14 next week. So yes, his mom is going a little bit bonkers herself, okay? So she's finding that there's a lot of challenges there. But I've been coaching moms, Joanne, for over 11 years. I held down a permanent job in the federal government here in Canada for 37 years. I just recently retired in May. So, but on the side, because I had this interest in helping moms who are struggling, because a lot of moms would come to me and ask me things and ask me my advice and guidance on different things. So I've been forever a lifelong learner. So I've been to university taking courses in psychology and child development, and I loved it. Right. So I decided, you know what, instead of just passing out all this guidance and direction, there's so many moms that need that help. I need to do something about it. So that's how I started. But this was all offline. There was no such thing as the internet and all this business there. The internet was probably there. I just didn't know, like it existed and what I could do with it. Right. So doing a business like this offline is a hell of a lot different than doing it online. But you know what? With online technology, you can reach out to more moms. It just like, pow, it dawned on me. This is so important. And I've helped so many moms in the past, hundreds of moms in the past, by phone, by Skype. Okay, Skype just started to come out, right? So I started doing that, and these are moms around the globe. Okay, would sit and we'd chat about things, and I loved it because it was like having a cup of coffee at the table with a friend, you know. So it was beautiful, and it's my passion and my purpose in life. The Creator gives us all gifts, and this was one of my gifts, and I have to, it's my role and responsibility to give back, right? To share that gift. So that's what I'm doing, Joanne.
It blows me away that you're a grandma. Like, I look at you and I'm like, this is not possible. You look so great. And I can't believe that you retired. And then you're like, oh, you know what? Let me just continue by doing an online business. You are like the living proof of how flexible we can be, how we can create impact no matter what our age, no matter where we are in life, because you worked for the federal government. Now you're like doing an online business working with teenagers, right? Like some would say those are opposite ends of the spectrum. And exactly what you said, being able to get online, being able to increase the reach, being able to impact more moms, like I resonate so much with that, right? Like this is exactly what drives me. I'm like, yes, let's do these interviews. We can reach more moms.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Joanne. I love it. It's like I said, it's my passion, right? And it's so important. It's such important work. Listen, being a mom is the biggest and most important job you'll ever have. Absolutely. But it's the hardest. Okay. And yeah, we're going to flip out. We're not going to always be cool. Okay. But we need to be the model for our children. So if we want to help them, we need to be that model ourselves. And that's what we're all trying to do.
Oh, I love this so much. This is we didn't talk, but we had a little bit of a chat before starting the interview, and we didn't get into this, but I love that there's just more and more things come up where we are just so aligned, because that's exactly it. This is exactly why before my oldest son, and he's 6 now, before he was even born, my husband and I had to talk about, okay, how are we going to change our eating habits? Because we know that when our child is born, it's going to take a while. It's going to take us a while to change our habits, because we know our child is going to look at what we are eating. Our child, you know, when I have parents coming to me and telling me, my kid is saying no to me all the time or not listening to me, I'm thinking to myself, I wonder what that's the behavior, where they're learning that from, right? Because we do so many of these things unconsciously, and we just don't realize that we are that mirror. We are that living example in the relationships we have, in, you know, how much fun we have in our work, in the boundaries that we set, and how we treat other people.
Absolutely.
And that is so powerful. Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me, what do moms come to you with? Because you're specialized in teenagers, which I'm like, oh man, that's going to be me in a few years.
From one end to the next. A lot of it is about respect. Okay. They come to me and they say, oh my God, my teen so much disrespects me, tells me off, slams the door, gives me the eyes, on and on and on and on, right?
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things.
Yeah.
That and you know, not even following any of the house rules, not helping around the home, being lazy, always in their room, stuck in their room, doing nothing but, you know, all these games and on the telephone and into the computer, doing all kinds of things. So you know what? They're not being very respectful to authority. So that's a huge one, okay? And we need to teach them that this is important, you know? They're important in the family. Everybody plays a vital, vital role in our family, and we need to help them understand that, right? Yeah. So respecting authority is a huge thing, because when they go out to work later on in their lifetime, they have to follow the rules of society there. You know, they have to follow the rules of their employer. They have to follow, you know, some kind of guidance and direction from an authority figure. So again, it's very, very important that we teach them about the importance of these things when they're very young. But you know, here's the thing, Joanne, and I tell moms this all the time. Listen, does your child understand the consequences of doing wrong, right? Do they understand that? And how do you guys decide on that as a family? You need to sit down as a family unit. You need to help them understand the vital role that they play in your family, okay, as a family, in your home, the cleanliness of your home. That's not only the mom's job there, okay? That's everybody's job. So we need to share the love. We need to teach them to do these things, because these are all life skills that they're going to need later on in their lifetime. So by the time they get to teenagers, you know, this is the time where when they hit high school, well, you know what, you need to learn how to get up by yourself, right? Without me, get up, and forget the negotiation, mom, forget the repeating. You tell them, this is what we need to do. But that family meeting needs to be number one, foundation first. Build that strong foundation. Let them know. Take a list, make a list of everything that has to be done on a weekly basis in your home. Then take that list and share the love with that family, okay? Your partner, your husband, your 2 or 3 kids or 5 kids, whatever you have, take that list and bring it around the table. Let everybody share it.
But it also creates awareness, right? Like it creates awareness for the fact that, wait, there are this enormous list of stuff that needs to be done, wait, that exists, because, you know, it's the same for us. I mean, sometimes I'm not aware of how many different things I do on a daily basis until I write it all down. So it's creating that awareness so that then we can kind of, as together as that family unit, you know, start taking steps, because it's not going to change overnight, right?
Absolutely.
But start taking the step to solving it together and teaching those life skills so that when they go out, because I literally had a roommate when I was in college who did not know how to cook potatoes or rice. I'm not joking. Like, I use this as an example because I like could not comprehend. I was like, what did your parents teach you? Like, and I don't think there's anything that the parents didn't want to do, but they were probably so in survival mode or working so much that they didn't have the skills to kind of support their child in learning how to, indeed, if you don't wake up when your alarm goes off, guess what? You're not going to keep a job very long.
Exactly, right? So
Yeah.
you relate every time you teach a child something related to actual reality, how it's going to impact them now and in the future, right? So you sit down and you make that list and you share the love. So everybody knows, oh my God, this is what happens on a weekly basis, for God's sake. This is what mom and dad have to do. Oh my God, right? So then everybody gets a chance to put their name on it, right? And because they've agreed to take on this, and then that list goes up on the refrigerator where everybody can see it, right? And then beside that list, though, before you put it up there, you say, if it doesn't happen, what's the consequence? What should be the consequence, right? So with my kids, raising my kids, I had 2 teenage girls, right? So what I did with them is, you know what, girls, you have till Friday at 6 o'clock to get your weekly chores done. I'm giving them options. You can do it whatever day you want.
Yeah.
Okay. You could do it whatever time you want, but it needs to be all completed by Friday at 6 o'clock, because by Friday at 6 o'clock, you know, these kids, when they get home from school, they want to take off, right? Well, yeah, sure. I'd love for you to go out with your friends. That's awesome, right? But did you get your chores done? And you know what? If you did, have a great time. You need to be home by 9 o'clock or whatever the time you choose, right? And you know what? It works, because now you don't have to argue with the kids. You don't have to negotiate with them. You don't have to justify anything. That's what you agreed upon, right?
Yeah.
You could have done it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. You decided not to.
And this
So
is again
there's
one
the
of those life skills, right? Because I can imagine you
Right.
come back and you revisit the agreements after a while. Like if they're really, really not working, then you come
Yeah.
back and you're like, okay, this is not working. We're still having a battle every week about it. What can we do differently to make sure that we're not having this battlefield, you know, World War III all the time.
Yep.
But what it is it's again those life skills, right? It's exactly, if you procrastinate on a paper for college until like the day before, you're going to be pulling all nighter. You're not going to feel well. You know, you're going to have bags in your eyes. And you're not going to have a fun weekend, right? Like
That's
these
right.
are teaching those skills for later in life, or you wait on a work assignment until the very last minute. You know, how can we plan? These are planning skills, right?
That's right.
Some of us are suffering, have had to spend many years of learning how to plan because we didn't get these skills, you know,
That's
in our families. So I think it's
That's
really
right.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, when do you start with this, right? Like,
oh my God, the sooner the better, Joanne. That's why what you do is so awesome.
Okay,
It's so much needed. You start this
Yeah.
when the kids are small, very small. You start this slowly but surely. You build on, right? Slowly but surely. Because if you do the work at that age, when they're young, my God, you've already have built a good foundation for your children. And you're doing like an awesome job as a mom, because you're preparing them at each phase of their life. Okay. So by the time, if you've done your work, okay, when the kids are small, you know, in 5 all the way up, even 2 to 3 all the way up, but 5 especially, right?
Yeah.
When those kids hit high school, that foundation has been built. They already know what to expect. They already know the consequences of what's going to happen. And for me, there was only one consequence. I don't make things complicated, okay? If everything is not done, if you have not, okay, accomplished what you are supposed to do, or what your role is or responsibilities are, okay, then sorry, there is no TV, there is no transportation to friends, there is no activities, there is no anything. So it's Friday at 6 and you're telling me you haven't got it done. Then once you get it done, go for it. Okay.
Yeah, and how, I'm curious as to then how do you know, I'm sure you know Simon Sinek and why, and what is the underlying rationale behind that, right? Like that how, because I remember, you know, I'm a bit younger than you, but I remember being a teenager, and that the thing that would drive me absolutely bonkers is when my mom would say, because I said so. Right, like this, right? But this is how it came across, that, you know, you have to have your homework done before you can out, because I said so. And I was always one of those overachieving kind of smart kids who always got my homework done anyway, because the fear of having bad grades was like worse than, you know, what my parents said. So her saying you have to do your homework before you can do this because I said so, like really didn't work. So I'm curious as to, you know, do you do work with like foundational values, right, as a family?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Again, that's a family thing. Again, I have all kinds of little worksheets, little diagrams,
Love
all
it.
kinds of things that I send out to my members all the time. Yeah, to help them, right? To help figure that out. But you know what? Talking about values, talking about roles and responsibilities, talking about the impact of those, why we're trying to teach them those lessons and how it's going to impact in the future for them. These are all important things. And you have to sit down with your family to talk about that. They're not going to want you half the time, but you know what? They have to do this, okay? And they're going to understand later on in life. They won't understand now. They're going to roll their eyes and, oh my God, right? But once they understand that this is your responsibility, this is the consequences, and this is why we're doing it.
Yeah.
Once they get it, okay? And you're not going to just sit down with them once. You're going to do this on a monthly basis. You're going to take that same list and bring it around again and let others do the dusting this week or vacuuming this week, or because they need to learn all the life skills, not just the one, right?
Yeah.
And so it gives everybody a lot of experience in a lot of different things. And a lot of when you have these family meetings, it builds and it creates discussion you never thought was going to come out of their little mouths, right? So to me, it's beautiful. It's a way of connecting, right? It's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. And that's one of my core foundational things is, right, it's like bringing us together and connecting. And we have to actually sit down and sometimes have those difficult conversations, even if it's not what we're looking forward to, right? On the Friday afternoon at 6 o'clock, let's say at the end of the week, we're not looking forward to having these conversations either. We're doing what is necessary to set those foundations for not only the loving, caring household that we have, but that they are going to, when we're not around, be able to continue that they're going to be able to sit down with their housemates, with their future partners, and have those discussions about, look, how are we going to run this household together? How are we going to make things work? And I can imagine, again, opening up the conversations and figuring out what people's strengths are in the family and weaknesses, right? Like my husband, for example, loves doing the laundry. And I actually love being in the kitchen. So, you know, we don't need to switch that task, but then you can, I bet you it would be, you know, the negotiation. Oh, would you like to do this? I'll do that for you. Right. And you can, again, skills on cooperation, teamwork, all this stuff you can translate to like your life in the future.
Yeah. So like I was saying earlier, Joanne, like you'll be amazed if you start doing this and making a habit once a month at least. Okay. You'll be amazed at the things that the kids will come out with. You know, you will be amazed. Okay. They're brilliant. These kids are brilliant, right? They're being raised by brilliant parents. Okay. They want to ask those questions. And if you open the door for them to ask those questions, the first couple of meetings might be a little bit stiff, but after that, they're going to love it. They know that if they get in there and you have these discussions, it's over with. They know exactly what is expected of them. They know exactly what the consequences are going to be. So therefore, there's no need for arguing and blue smoke coming out of the ears. And, you know, you want to just like, I used to tell my kids, take your hair for a walk because mom is really upset right now. Okay. So, you know, you don't want to get to that point because you want to model what you want to see in your kids. So you need to stay cool and you need to stay calm, moms. You know, we need to stay cool and calm, yet we need to be confident, right? And we need to take control, not of them, because you can't control them at that age. No way. Absolutely not. You shouldn't. Okay. But you need to take control of you, how you react. Okay. And then after that, the big thing is you need to be consistent. If there's a consequence to be delivered, you need to be consistent, because if you're not consistent, you're going to be doing this over and over for the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years.
Yeah, because they know they can't trust you. That's what it comes to. And when you're not consistent, we also don't create that feeling of safety that kids are really looking for. You know, it's not that we have to be harsh or create discipline or punishment. I'm not about that at all. I do agree that we need to set boundaries and to create that safety, you know, the telling kids that what is not okay in our family, right? Like, I call those red lines, like when it's like, this is this far and not enough. And I like that you said, you know, cool, calm, confident. And I also can imagine that you hi, I'm recording a video, sweetie. Could you please leave that? Thank you. Love you.
What a cutie. I just love him.
That's my oldest.
Wow. Good for you.
Super bad news. Okay, I'd love to hear all about it in a few minutes. Okay, shall I come down? Okay. I'm recording, right? So this is, it's okay. It's okay.
So cute.
I had this thought. I was like, I should let my husband know I'm recording, because and I didn't. And now I'm like, this is why I had that little bit of intuition that said I should let my husband know this.
Yeah.
But this is part of family life, right?
Yeah.
And
this is the reality, girl.
Yeah, they're curious, right?
It. Yeah.
But and I'm totally okay with setting boundaries. And at some points I noticed that it's okay, because what I work with a lot is also recognizing emotions. And what a lot of the parents don't do is they get really good at recognizing their kids' emotions, but we got to recognize our own. And when we're getting to that point where we are going to go over the edge of our being in control, and to kind of nip it in the bud before that, so that we can stay in that zone, in that cool zone.
Yes, exactly. And you know what? Boundaries are really, really important. Discipline, for me, discipline is, I really don't like that word too much, but you know what? It just means to me that we need to put those boundaries there, and disciplining doesn't have to hurt. Discipline, if you're going to discipline, if you're going to give consequences that teach, okay? Not to put that little guy down or that little girl down, or blow your stack and start, that's doesn't help anybody. What your kids need to see, you need to model what you want your kids to be. Okay, so if you're calm, okay, poker face all the time, right? Because you can't put your emotions in there. Teenagers, they will push and push and push till they get their way. Well, forget that. Be very calm, because then they're wondering what the hell's going on. Mom's not blowing her stack, right? Be very calm, be very confident, and be very clear to them. I love you so much. Right now, I don't like you that much, but I love you so much. You've hurt me. Yeah, you've hurt me a bit, but you know what? We're going to work on this. It's going to get better. Yeah. Okay. And don't forget, Mom, we make mistakes. Okay. There's going to be times when you do blow it. Okay. But you know what? It's okay. Bring things back on track. Show them that it's okay to make mistakes.
Yeah, and that's the rupture and the repair, right? That's like when things go wrong, that we got to get right back in the arena and say, we're sorry, come back, repair the relationship, and keep going, instead of shutting off and saying, oh, I messed up, and now I'm just going to sit there with my silent whip, because we're all so good at that. All the things that we do wrong on a daily basis, or what we could do better. So definitely so on board with that.
Absolutely. Let them know that we're all human, and you know what? I used to tell my kids, I expect you to make mistakes. Okay. But I also expect you to learn from them and then move on. Don't hold that. Okay. Nobody's going to hold that. Right. But I expect those mistakes to happen. I was a teenager. I know exactly, what you're going through, peer pressure, everything that's changed. Like even the world today with this technology, social media, they're all over it, right? They're getting exposed to so many things that I was never exposed to as a child, right? Very different exposure. So we need to understand that, and we need to take that into account. And you don't have to argue with your kids, moms. You don't have to lose your cool. You don't have to do that. Okay. You need to show your teen that, listen, we can have a disagreement, but we also need to stay calm and respectful of each other.
Again, that living example, right?
And we deserve respect. That's it. Right. I try to make it sound simple. It's not simple. It takes a lot of work. But if they start in your stage, Joanne, if they start working with people like you, okay, and they teach their kids at a young age that strong foundation, I'm telling you, the teen years are going to be a lot easier.
I'll check in with you in another 10 years. I'll let you know.
Yeah, no, I'm sure.
But I have to say, it's been that what so many of the things that you're saying are resonating, right? Like just the sitting down as a family, the creating the connection, the coming back and revisiting that, the having the challenging conversations, the coming back to the table. I do use a little bit more emotion because I think at the earlier ages, they also need to be able to pick up on the language skills and the body language, that because it can create, and I use an expensive word with this, cognitive dissonance. When your body language doesn't match with the words coming out of your mouth, with young kids, that can create a lot of confusion. And but I think teenagers are already developed to a point enough where they're like, I know something's going on, and I know because I can control myself as well, that control with the younger ages is just not there. So I love that you're bringing that nuance of how it's so different to work with teens, because that's I'm very clear about this. I'm like, you got teenagers? No, I'm going to send them to Lillian now. That's all you, right? And indeed, the discipline thing. I had this question recently, actually, in my coaching check about discipline, right? Boundaries and discipline, and we're going to talk about it this week, actually. And I'm all about boundaries. With the discipline, I like to ask the question, who is it for?
Yeah.
Who is the discipline for? Is it really going to contribute to my child becoming a better person, understanding and growing in the world around them? Or is it really more a vindictive kind of thing that I'm hurt, so I want to lash out to discipline my child? And I think it's really important to have that self-awareness in this.
Yeah, that's awesome, Joanne. That's awesome. Parents have to think about that, because remember, we're bringing past baggage with us, okay?
Yeah.
Like in my culture as an Anishinaabe woman, an Algonquin woman here in Canada, I'm holding 7 generations of trauma here. Okay.
I was just going to say 7 generations back. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're responsible for 7 generations forward. Okay. So yes, we need to look at the past. We need to learn from the past, but we need to be very cognizant that we're not bringing that forward and giving that to our children. No. Right. So again, we need to be more aware of ourselves and how we're coming to the table in front of our children. Like I was brought up in a whole different way. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
That's a lot of responsibility, right? I mean, it's heavy. This is a heavy topic, right? And at the same time, it creates so much hope, because it's saying like, hey, we could change this dialogue starting with this generation. Because even if you look at I mean, your generation, my mother's, but my grandmother's generation, that so many of the options like that we have now as women and as entrepreneurs and to travel and all these things just weren't there. But also so many of the challenges that we're facing with social media, with technology, are just so different. But so it's a huge responsibility, and it also is a huge chance to create like these future 7 generations that can be so different than how the previous 7 were.
It's an opportunity, right? So so be very, very, aware of who you are and what you're bringing, and your own space. Like like if you're arguing with your teen, is blue smoke starting to come out of your ears? Is your blood pressure, are you ready to start shouting and screaming? If that's the case, then move away. Get away out of the room, get into the car, go for a walk, do whatever you need to do, but don't engage in a power struggle, because when teens hit teens, it's all about the power struggle. Okay. So don't go there. Look at your teen and calmly say, listen, you know what? We need to talk about this a little bit later, because right now I can't do this.
Yeah.
It's not right for me to do this right now with you. Okay. So we'll talk about it later, but I need to remind you how much I love you. Okay. Even though we disagree, I love you to no end. And then get out of the room, Mom. Get into the car, go for that walk, do whatever you need to do to calm yourself down, and wait till the time is right to talk to your son or your daughter.
Well, you hit so many beautiful points with this, because it's indeed, it's that unconditional love, that it's the communicating it, because we think, oh, we love our kids unconditionally, so they must know it, but they do need to hear it a lot. We're also that self-awareness, right? That like,
Mhm.
I'm hitting that boundary, that I need to take some space and get out of it. And, you know, just the success of walking away from it instead of, you know, the habit and everything that we've taken with us to kind of
Yeah.
power through and then keep
Yeah.
that vicious cycle. And so this is gold. I love
Yeah.
this interview. All right. Hey, so we're talking a lot about wow, a lot of different, we've gone all over the place with generational trauma even, right? And discipline and support and communication and unconditional love. Is there one thing when you've got moms coming to you, is there like this one golden tip, this one thing that you're like, or process, right? Or a question that you give that you're like, this has huge impact? Oh, you got four. Ooh.
But I'm gonna
All
give you, again, we already talked about this in our discussions, okay?
Yeah.
But I want to remind moms, most important thing, do not lose your cool.
Yep.
Don't lose your cool. They're going to press you. They're going to push your buttons, but don't lose your cool, mom. Be very, very calm, okay? Then be very confident, knowing that you're placing some teachings to your children. You're going to teach them. You're not going to argue, fight, turn blue. No, you're going to teach them, but you need to do so confidently because they need to see that they're safe with you, that you're the leader of this family, okay? They need to see that you care and that you're telling them all this because you love them and you want to protect them. Because as a mom, that's who we are. That's our job. Yep. The kids is go to school, okay? Our job is to be the mom and, you know, the parent, okay? Not just moms, parents. We need to keep them safe. We need to guide them and advise them as teens, not tell them what to do, but guide and advise. And wait for them to ask you for your advice before you give it, okay? Wait for them to ask, okay? Otherwise, you're just guiding and directing, okay? So that's calm, that's being confident, okay? And you need to be, you need to be very in control, okay? Not of your kids, because you can't control your kids. There's no way. You cannot control anybody. You can only control you, how you respond, how you react. Again, it's all about that calmness. Be very calm, mom, because that's how you want to teach your team to react to disagreements, okay? You want to teach them that they can be calm and cool and confident without flying off because they yell all the time at us, right? They shout and they yell. And the last one is, and it's the most important, please be consistent.
Yeah.
Because when you give a consequence, hang on to it, monitor it, and it doesn't have to be for a week, okay? Depending on what happened, it could be for a couple of hours. It could be for a day. It doesn't have to be a week, mom. You want to teach your children. You don't want to punish them, okay? I don't like this punish. Kids are not there to be punished. They're there so we can teach and guide them. So that's the biggest takeaway I can give your audience, Joanne.
Cool, confident, control, and consistency. Your 4 C's.
Yeah, the big one, the consistency is big because again, you don't want to be continuing having to do this and have these talks for the next 3 years, 6 years. Oh, no way. Otherwise, you will lose your marbles. You will have to pull out your hair. Okay.
Hey, I want to ask about a resource now. And little birdie told me that you also recently wrote a book.
Yes, I did, Joanne. Thank you. Thank you for bringing it. I'm so proud of it. Actually, here it is. Oh my God. Here it is. I'm going to show you it. Okay. It's help. My teen is driving me crazy. Yeah. It's a short read. It's an ebook. It's a short read, but it's packed with value. It's packed with all the tips and the strategies that I've spoken about today and so much more, right? Yeah. And it's yours for free, moms. All what you need is ask for it, okay? Yeah. And how you ask for it is Lillian at coachingparents2success.com.
I'll put the link wherever I post this video, please. Lillian. Yes. I will put the link with it. Fantastic. And you're offering it for free. This is so amazing.
For free for all your members. All what they have to do is ask. Yeah.
Amazing.
For free. Yeah. Amazing. So I've done 6 like this. This is my first, but this is the foundational. This is my signature program. Okay, so I use this resource as a tool. It's a parenting rescue guide is what it is. Okay, so I use this, and this is what I use to deliver my 6 Steps to Success program. It's a signature program within my group. So really, and I'm happy to give it, and I'm so proud of the work. I never thought at 62 I wrote this book. So Joanne, your target audience is mom that have little ones. I also have a children's book that I wrote, and I'll give it to you guys for free as well.
Oh,
Okay.
so amazing. So
Yeah.
cool. This is really
Yeah.
exciting. I'm going to post all the relevant links. Lillian, it has been so amazing, so much fun talking to you, and I'm sure we're gonna have another talk sometime soon. But for now, I would like to say thank you and mwah, for bringing all this amazing value and information, and have an awesome day.
Thank you so much. It's an honor, Joanne. Miigwech.
All right.
Bye now.